Welcome back to Single Tracks and Whiskey, where today we're in Park City, Utah at Trailside Bike Park, so I can teach you how to do this. Welcome to Trailside Bike Park in Park City, Utah. Park City, of course, known for its winter sports scene, also has one hell of a mountain biking scene. Today I want to focus on drops, which can be some of the most intimidating features on any trail, and you're bound to run into them if you get into this sport. And I want to share with you some of the tips that made them seem a lot less daunting for me. Quickly, here are my 5 tips for drops. Number 1, carry enough speed to get your bike over the edge. Too little and that front tire is going to dive down. 2, be in the attack position. More on this later, but it's a position on the bike that keeps your weight balanced and ready to attack. 3, look ahead on the trail. You always want to be looking ahead, never down at your front tire. 4, crouch down, then hips back. This is the movement that will keep that front wheel level when you're going off the jump. 5, keep your knees bent. This will ensure that the landing is smooth and you can ride away. Let's start with gear. First and foremost, drop that seat as low as it can go. That'll allow the most movement on the bike. I also want to make sure that you're wearing all the protective gear, helmet, gloves, knee and elbow pads if you got them. This is a dangerous sport after all. Next thing I want you to do is find a bike stand, put your rear tire in it, and let's practice body positioning. Now this is so important in mountain biking, not just for drops. You want to be balanced over the center of the bike. You do not want to be too far forward. You also don't want to be hanging off the back of the bike. A balanced body position will make sure that you maintain the correct angle when you go off of drops. Now what you're seeing right here is known as the attack position. I'm crouched, but I'm still centering my weight over the middle of the bike. My hands are loose as well. This gives me the most control when I'm descending or going off drops on a mountain bike. Now practice this position and it should feel comfortable to you. You want to remain loose on the bike. No stiff hands, no stiff joints. This will allow you to adapt to the trail conditions. The next thing we want to do is start riding. We need to find a nice short drop to take for our first few attempts. Find something small that you can literally roll off of. There needs to be plenty of room for error here. The idea behind this is just to get comfortable with the bike leaving the ground. You can exaggerate your movements here so you can see what it does when you shift your weight too far back, too far forward. Now the ultimate goal is to get this move down. As you're approaching the edge, you want to crouch, then push your hips back in one motion. This will keep the front tire level as you go off the drop, almost pushing the bike out in front of you. Next, it's all about progression. Let's go a little bigger. Find something a little taller that you can still roll off of, but that will allow you to get a little bit more air. Now, one of the keys with drops is to ride off of them, not down them. Now, I know that sounds a little weird, but you want to ride off as if the trail's continuing, and that means keeping your focus forward. You're not looking down at your front tire, you're looking ahead at the trail. Now, if you find that your front tire is slamming into the ground before your back tire, do not progress beyond this size of a drop just yet. What's happening is you're pulling up onto the handlebars. That's shifting your weight forward and bringing that front tire down way too quickly. Instead, I want you to practice being balanced on the bike, looking ahead on the trail, and then crouching and pulling those hips back. Conversely, if you're finding that the back tire is hitting the ground too early, your weight's too far back. Practice this size of a drop until you can get both those tires on the ground at the same time. Next step, go a little bigger. Find something that doesn't have a flat landing on it. The idea here is just to practice that body position. An obstacle like this, where the landing is rough and not flat, will allow you to really focus on keeping that front tire level as you're going off of the object. Now listen, Rome wasn't built in a day. I do not expect you to go from riding off curves to riding off something like this in one single day. But when it really comes down to it, the same rules apply. You want to stay balanced over the bike, and you want to ride off of the obstacle, not down it. And if you're comfortable with the smaller drops, and you can do them without slamming your front or back wheels on the ground, about the only thing keeping you from doing something like this is fear of doing it. Everything before this moment was all about to create that muscle memory for you of going off of objects. Now, it's time to put it all together and do the exact same thing on this larger drop. Now, I don't want to overcomplicate this like a golf swing, so I'm going to keep it simple. You need enough speed to carry yourself off of the edge here. The next move we know about, crouch down, hips back. That'll get that tire level as we exit. Notice that I'm centered over the bike. I'm not hanging off the back end of it. Now, once you've left the obstacle, look ahead to the landing, keep your knees bent so you could soak up the bump, and ride away. Now again, guys, the technique is the same on all of these drops. The progression is just to get that muscle memory down and get you over the mental block on hitting something like this on the trail. And that's it. I really hope this video helps some of you conquer this type of obstacle, which can be so intimidating out on a trail. But when you do it, it makes riding that much more fun, which is what it's all about. I'd love to hear some of your experiences down in the comment section below. Also, please hit that like and subscribe button. I love doing these videos for you, and I'm looking forward to doing more and more how-tos in the future. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.